I got the idea for where to do this video because I'm always looking for pretty spots around the acreage and the chalet acreage and the forest and whatnot. It's just to give you all something different to look at. Now, I was talking to a friend of mine that I took away with me from work. Her name's Joanne, and she took a picture of herself at her corn patch. And so I said, it's not children of the corn, it's the old lady in the corn. So I thought, I have a patch of corn. It's not doing anything. It's fully green and there's not much for tassels or any corn coming. But I can do this one as the old lady in the corn patch and talk to you about expectations of our children and our grandchildren. Hi friends. This is Annette from Carpe Omnia After 60. Another episode of my letting go videos. Now this time, when I first planned these out, this was going to be at the very end, but an opportunity came up with new guests arriving tomorrow that I thought I would move the episode of letting go of our expectations of our children and our grandchildren to bump it up to now. And it's one of the more tender expectations we have. And we do carry a lot of expectations when we are pregnant with them, as we are raising them, and we have certain thoughts as to how things should go, and quite often it does not go like that. Now, first off, I'm going to start with my daughter, Patrice. Now, the three of us Patrice, Roy, and myself were close as three musketeers when they were growing up, because I was basically a single mom their whole life. And then she became an adult and had various relationships and was living with a guy. They moved out to Beaver Lodge, and I think one of the issues that broke them up was the fact that he did not want kids at that time, and she did. And I know I was looking forward to being a grandma, because generally the mums of the daughters are kind of first grandma. And I was really looking forward to that experience. And so far, I've not had that experience. She ended up getting engaged to Steve, and at that point, they were still talking about having kids. And 2 years before their wedding day, I started a giant project for their wedding gift, and I was so excited because she was a Disney girl and all things Disney, princes and whatnot. And I thought, I found the perfect thing to do. I used to cross-stitch. I probably could take it back up again. I cross-stitched this ginormous picture. Now, each piece was a page of pattern, and it was basically all petty point. It was so tiny. And it took me several hours a day, every day for 2 years as I built this thing for her. And it also took several glasses prescriptions, because I certainly was losing some vision out of that really up-close, tiny stitching her. And just so excited, and it was hidden, and she didn't know a thing about it. We gave it to her at their shower, and the look on her face when she saw this gift was kind of like I gave her some tax papers. Like, she was a little bit kind of horrified, and it was just, she didn't like it. She didn't want it. She at one point was going to maybe put it in her husband's garage, with the oil and the dust and I'm like, oh man, and I was just devastated. All that work, all that love put into this thing that I was so sure that she would love, and she hated it. And we still have it, and we will put it up in our house here because I like it. Even though Princes and Knights was a her thing because of Disney, I still like that picture, even though I was disappointed that she didn't like it at all. And I know how I would have felt if my mom, who doesn't like me, had worked for years on a gift for me. I would have just fallen over with my mouth hanging open. But that is something to let go of, because her expectations, her likes, the way she wants her house, my gift did not fit with that. And so I have to let that go. And indeed, shortly after they got married, Steve and her decided that they weren't going to have any kids at all. And so he got snipped and clipped, and that was the end of it. And my hopes for being a grandmother that way was not to be. Now my son. He, Lord help us all, he's got 2 baby mamas out there. The first child is now, I think she's 12, and the second one is 10. The 12-year-old, I almost met her shortly after she was born, because she was going to be in our wedding party. And the mother was flying out with the baby to come and join us at mine and Owen's wedding. And I guess my son met her at the airport, handed her papers to keep her in the province of Alberta. And so she just right away got on the plane and disappeared back to Newfoundland, and I didn't get to meet my granddaughter for quite some time. And at that point, he was dating his second baby mama, and they brought another child into the picture. But this first one, I did go out to Newfoundland with Owen, and we did spend some time seeing Cora on 2 occasions out in Newfoundland.
You can see a vague resemblance between my baby picture and Cora. I was on the right, where I was very happy to have our help during that very stressful time in Newfoundland. And it was lovely to meet my granddaughter.
And that was mostly so that we could support Roy in trying to get some visitation, some access, something with this granddaughter. And now around the age of 12, the baby mama, that's all I'm going to call her, so I don't have to give her a name on here. She's all willing for us to have a relationship with her daughter, and what I'm finding is it's awkward, and it's almost, I don't know when it's going to happen. I mean, Cora does have the latest of cell phones, always does. I do send messages. They are never answered. When I FaceTime, she's really not into it, doesn't want to do it, doesn't have interest. One of the last times I did it, the phone was sat down, and all it was watching an argument between Cora and her mother, and that was that. So I'll keep sending messages and gifts, and who knows, maybe when she's older, her father's side of the family might have some meaning for her. But right now, she is very happily in a family in Newfoundland. She has a wonderful stepdad. They're all very plugged in, and it sounds like if my son doesn't get his poop in a group, they're going to go to court to have her adopted by the stepfather. And so that's the one grandchild. The second one is in Edmonton.
I did get to meet Aurora. They were married for a few years, so I got to know her for that little time. But because the split was quite acrimonious, I don't know this child anymore.
And this woman has tried very hard not to allow visitation, has done a lot of talking, so that the child never did want to go with her dad on visits. Roy would go to the house, the girl would open the door, granddaughter would slam the door in his face, and thus it went. And it's just been a slog. And my son isn't a big fighter, so it's been, 4 or 5 years now, and they're still not divorced. They still don't have any orders. And of course, I'm in his family, and therefore on the side of the kind of yuck in this girl's life. And so who knows where that's going to go in the future. I mean, I remain open, but I'll just follow the lead of my granddaughter. And so I have for grandchildren is my step-grandchildren, because husband has 3 daughters. He has a fourth, but they're 2 sets of twins, and one of the eldest set threw her dad away. And so he now says he has 3. And there's a whole bunch of kids in there from the age of 16 on down to 4, or has he turned 5 yet? Anyway, but in that one, I'm kind of the last grandma, the 4th or 5th grandma in line, and I really don't feel that much of one, if you can understand that. And I don't know if I'm going to even get that feeling of grandmother until maybe our Jasmine, who's 9. I better stay healthy and live long to see if that ever happens. But I cannot have expectations, because so far they have kind of fallen through, and that's it. as far as that goes. Now, to tie this conversation back to the gift that I worked 2 years on and the guests that we're having coming tomorrow. Now, this is kind of a fun group. It's three ladies over the age of 60. They come together once a year at some Airbnb somewhere to embroider for a few days and to visit and hang out with each other. And that just brought to mind my cross-stitching story. Sometimes the deep connections we crave doesn't come from family. It comes from who we meet and who we build our relationships with around us as time goes on.
So yes, letting go of children and grandchildren, or at least the expectations we hold for them, is brutal. It's grieving the stories we wrote in our heads that never got lived out. But letting go doesn't mean letting go of love. It means I stop trying to write their story. I start embracing my own. And hey, if I ever do another 2-year cross-stitch, I can auction it off on Etsy instead of traumatizing my kids. And that's me in the elf costume. And so it begins, the season of letting go, when Mother Nature shows us all how it's done. Let go, free yourself, shake it off, drop it, give way for the new, create space for new thoughts, new ideas, new adventures, and new connections by shedding the dead weight you've been carrying around for so long. And whilst you're there, being reborn and renewed, let go of old anxieties too. Let go of any doubts, fears, or beliefs which no longer serve you well. Release bitterness or past hurts which feast on your beauty. Be brave, don't fear the nakedness as your leaves slip away. Mother Nature doesn't. Watch and learn.